Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back. You know what you're listening to. This is To Kill a Delibird, the Pokemon anime podcast where we take things very, very seriously all the time. I'm Kellan. As usual, I am joined by my co-host, Graham. How you doing, Graham?
I'm doing great. How's it going, Kellan?
I'm lovely.
I didn't know we were that serious.
We're very serious.
Okay, this is the serious hour. This is where jokes do not fly.
We are serious as Brock is in the first episode we're looking at today.
We are serious as Sirius XM Radio, which does not play this podcast, probably.
No, I don't think so. Speaking of where you play podcasts, we're on Apple now.
Yes, you can find us Apple. I believe I got confirmation that Amazon's through, and I'm just waiting on the Stitcher as well.
What about Google?
Oh, we're on Google. Yes. Yeah. So I think we can start saying wherever fine podcasts
wherever
are
you
downloaded.
Find your podcasts.
Yeah.
Nice. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very exciting. All right, today we're looking at two more episodes. We're looking at Showdown in Pewter City, and then we're looking at Clefairy and the Moonstone. How did you like these episodes?
They were okay. They were
okay.
They had their ups and downs. I think that there's a bit of weird stuff, and we're going to get into the parts that I'm already starting to find pretty repetitive watching Pokemon episodes.
That's great to hear.
But the high points were high.
Okay, well, let's just jump right into it. Showdown in Pewter City. We open on Team Rocket digging a hole on the way to Pewter City.
So dumb.
In preparation for Ash.
I did laugh at this. What does that tell you about me that I laughed at
Well, I mean,
this
it's a
gag?
pretty classic gag.
It's so dumb. So, okay, right, so Team Rocket is trying to make a trap for Ash, right? Because they're all headed to Pewter City. We're gonna dig a hole. We're gonna cover it with leaves. Then Ash will fall in and be trapped. And Team Rocket falls into their own trap. Oh,
They don't remember where they put it. They camouflaged it so well.
It's so
They
dumb.
camouflaged it so well. They did
Yeah.
such a good job. They forgot where they put it.
Have you ever done something like that to yourself?
No, I can't say I've ever.
That's the classic, like, leaving a rake out gag and then stepping on it and getting hit in the head. I don't think I've ever
No,
done
I can't say I've ever dug a hole and then fell into it.
Yeah. Have you ever dug a hole?
I've dug a hole. Not a big hole, but I've dug holes. I was a child once.
I dug a big hole
Ooh.
once. Yeah, my dad had us dig a hole in the backyard once because the neighbor's trees were, like, growing roots up. So he just started this war on the roots. And me and my grandpa had to dig holes one day, and my grandpa kept making jokes about how we were like a chain gang in prison.
Classic Maynard.
Yeah.
I don't know
You
if
get memories here, folks.
I don't know if we've ever actually, like, said this aloud, but, like, our relationship, we're cousins. For anyone that doesn't know.
They don't need to know that,
which is
do they?
most people. Well, that's why I know what your grandpa's name is.
It's a family podcast.
Otherwise, why would I know your grandpa's name? That'd be a little strange.
You might know my grandpa.
I don't know. It's more likely if we're related.
I think my grandpa's the type of guy to dig a hole and fall in it.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, that's about all we see of Team Rocket in this episode.
Yeah, Team Rocket. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, we're done with Team Rocket. So Ash and Misty find Pewter City, finally, and some strange bearded man starts speaking in ominous riddles.
Pewter City is gray, famous for stone.
Yep. If anyone didn't know, for some reason, all of Kanto's cities and towns are named after colors, except Palette, which is where you put all your colors.
Right.
So
and
Pewter
then the
is a
league
gray.
is called
The Indigo
League.
Yes.
And do other regions in the Pokemon world, do other regions have themes?
Yes, I don't remember all of them. I know Johto is also colors because it's connected to Kanto. There are other ones. I know Paldea has some kind of theme. I don't remember what it is, though. I think it has something to do with cooking.
Wow, Pokemon expert. I thought you would know that off the top of your head. I didn't even
I'll have to do some
think
research.
to ask you ahead of time because I was like, you'll just know this.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now without looking at anything, but I can't think of anything right now. I'm going blank.
That's okay. Fire and Blanks, the podcast.
So we meet this strange dude. His name is Flint, which is the name of an Elite Four member from Sinnoh.
Yeah, it's also like a type of stone, I guess, used to start fire.
Yep. He
And
sells
rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scam alert.
Okay, they think he's immediately sketchy, though.
Did you
and
not?
for no real good reason. Yeah, but why? they're like, because he looks homeless. Is this a homeless phobia?
He's trying to sell rocks.
Well, I think it's because of the beard. I think that they're beard phobic.
Are you projecting because you have a beard?
Flint has a glorious beard, though.
That's not even it's not even a
beard.
real beard. We see later.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, Flint isn't all he seems to be.
No, there's something suspicious about him.
I actually, since I did not remember how this played out, I went through phases of thinking what the deal with Flint might be. And you know what my first reaction was? Can you guess?
It was Ash's dad.
I thought he literally was Brock. Until we see them like
at the same time.
Scene. Yeah, but before that I was like, oh, he's just Brock in a disguise.
And why would Brock be trying to help Ash defeat him?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the whole scheme was, but I was like, he just looks like Brock, which is significant.
Which, I mean, yeah, he's his father, so.
Wow, spoilers right out the gate.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Right, so that's the twist later, is that Flint is Brock's father, but I thought he was just Brock. I was like, okay.
So we're back at the Pokemon Center now. In Pewter City, we meet a second Nurse Joy. What's going on with that? There's 2 Nurse Joys?
I'm still convinced they're clones.
What? Crazy stuff.
So throwback to last episode, 2 episodes ago, I hypothesized that Nurse Joy, the Joys across Kanto, are not just sisters, they are clones. There's a few conspiracies, I think, going on in the Pokemon world. That's one of them. They're too similar.
I'm hoping that at some point throughout the series you're able to gather some concrete evidence to support your theory.
It's pretty concrete. Look at them. They're clones.
I feel like look at them is not really evidence.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of like clones to draw experience from. Mm-hmm. I've seen movies with clones though.
The only clone I know of is Dolly the sheep.
That's a real life.
That's a real life clone.
I was thinking more like Schwarzenegger. There's a Schwarzenegger movie where they're all clones.
Is there?
And then the big spoiler is that the one you've been following the whole time, he's the clone.
Oh,
dun, dun, dun.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, good movie.
So Nurse Joy mentions the poster on the back wall for the Pokemon League Regional Championships, and you have to get badges from different towns. The interesting thing here that I noted, it doesn't specifically say that there are 8 specific badges from 8 specific towns you have to get, because later in the season when we meet Gary, or not meet Gary, but see Gary, and he shows off his badges, he has badges that we'll never see again. So there are more than 8 gyms in Kanto.
He's got off-canon badges.
I guess they're technically canon to the anime at least, but they're not badges we ever have seen in-game.
So you can get more than 8 badges.
Apparently, there's more than 8 gyms. I guess the idea is that you need 8 badges to enter the championships, but there are more than 8 gyms.
But it could be any 8.
It could be any 8, yeah. And we'll talk about that more once we actually get to whatever episode.
And that's sort of why seemingly smallish towns have gyms too.
I guess so.
It's not just large centers. Pewter, though, is a bit deceptive through the episode. I actually thought Pewter itself was the shining character, but it shifts and changes a little bit. In some scenes, it seems like a quaint small town that basically just has like a creek and a shack. And then in others, it's like they're in Tokyo. There's like a skyline and like a sweet city pop background.
Well, all of the cities in the anime are far more grandiose than their game counterparts.
It looked like a nice place, though. It was it had a vibe.
The game counterparts are like 4 buildings, and 2 of them are a center and a mart.
But in the show, I could hear the like smooth jazz soundtrack, while someone's smoking a cigarette outside of a convenience store. Yeah. It had vibes.
So when Ash and Misty are talking about the regional championships, Misty states that gym leaders are different from normal trainers. How would she know? Interesting.
Do you want me to answer that? I remember. There's a twist with Misty.
You know this?
Yeah, I'm not all stupid when it comes to Pokemon. I'm like 30% stupid.
I mean, if you've ever played the games
60%.
Once, you know this, that Misty is also a gym leader.
Isn't she like 10?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Brock?
Brock's got to be older than 10. He's got 9 little siblings he's taking care of.
What the heck is with ages
Who
in
knows?
this show? It's nonsense.
It's very all over the place all the time.
Yeah. But speaking of Brock, we get to meet him right away, right?
Yeah, Misty gets annoyed because she offers help to Ash. He refuses it. She dines and dashes, and then we're off to the gym where we meet Brock for the very first time.
Did you notice the price of their meal?
Yeah,
because this is like one of those
1,500, something like that.
Well, this is one of those things where it's clearly supposed to be in yen, so it's like actually like $10.
Yeah.
But it's like I think they just put a dollar sign in the American version, so it looks like it's like $1,100.
Yeah, they couldn't have added
for a bowl of rice.
They couldn't have added a decimal point, like
during the translation.
Yeah, they
already changed the yen sign to a dollar sign.
They could put a little dot in there, I feel. So we meet Brock for the first time. He's very serious. He's more serious than we'll ever see again.
He's so stoic in this episode.
This is a side of Brock I don't know if we'll ever see again, because he gets very goofy, very quick.
Yeah, in my memory, he's just a degenerate pervert.
I don't know if he's that bad.
But isn't he just always losing it?
Well, he's
a simp.
He's a simp, yeah. He's an absolute simp.
We're not allowed to say that word on Twitch, right?
Well, that's Twitch. So
okay.
I think you can say it. I don't know if they can detect that kind of stuff. You're not supposed to put it in chat, I don't think.
Ah, gotcha.
Anyway, Ash doesn't know about the special rules for League battles. Brock tells him that they have to use 2 Pokemon each. And then Ash actually mentions that he's had Pikachu for approximately 2 weeks. So we actually have a concrete time as to how long this has been going so far.
Yeah, that's interesting because it feels more like an hour, you know?
Yeah, because, the last episode I had mentioned that, like, Dexter says that Metapod evolves into Butterfree a week after evolving into Metapod, but it feels like it's been a day. But I guess maybe it was a week. Maybe they were in that forest for an entire week.
You just lived with that weird samurai boy for a week?
Yeah, they just chilled there.
Roommates?
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird dude.
And so we see our first real battle stadium in the anime. This huge rock field. I think
Pretty cool.
The stadiums are cool.
Comes in from the sides, yeah.
The stadiums are a really cool touch that we never really see in the games.
Until Pokemon Stadium.
And even then, it's still like a flat surface.
Yeah, true. What about the Pokemon Stadium level in Smash Brothers?
Now those are cool.
Like changing and transforming and stuff.
Those are cool. I like those ones.
So Ash is still an idiot, though. Like, he has not learned anything about type matchups.
He never even bothered to research what kind of Pokemon Brock uses.
Would it have helped? I feel like he doesn't have a core understanding of the main Pokemon battling mechanic, which is type matchups.
Yeah, he may have gotten the knowledge, but it definitely wouldn't have helped at all.
So type matchups, if for those Pokemon illiterate like myself, is kind of a rock, paper, scissors system of Pokemon. So water beats fire, fire beats grass, etc. Lightning, or I guess thunder type is what it's called. Electric type, wow. So thunder, lightning, electric type is weak against rock, right?
Electric is weak against ground, and ground is immune to electric moves.
Okay, I was going to ask, but what's the connection to rock?
I think they're neutral on each other.
And Brock has rock, right?
Yes, he is a rock type trainer.
Take away the B.
He is a rock type trainer, but he uses Onix and Geodude, which are both rock/ground types.
Okay, and ground makes them not only resistant, but like actually immune. They cannot take damage at all.
They're not supposed to take damage whatsoever from electric attacks.
So this episode makes no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense. It makes sense the first battle, because Pikachu is unable to damage them, but...
Right.
Or no, he damages Geodude somehow. He knocks out Geodude, but he's unable to damage Onix.
So, and Onix, so Onix is this giant rock snake that Brock has, and he looks legit scary.
Yes.
Like, he's such an imposing force.
Onix is a very cool Pokemon, but in the games, Onix actually just fucking sucks.
It's never been useful at all.
It's terrible. It's got good defenses, but that's, like, about it. Its attack stat is worse than an Oddish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Worse than an Oddish. That sounds like kind of a weird, quaint insult that people in the Pokemon world would have. You punch worse than an Oddish.
When it evolves into Steelix in Generation 2, it gets a lot better. But Onix itself is pretty trash.
I would love to hear more of like these linguistic quirks that people in the Pokemon universe would have. Like, give me a Pokemon that everyone would know about.
I'm blanking now. I can't think of anything.
A
single
like
Pokemon.
a Rattata. They wouldn't say
rat-a-tat?
like, "Oh, I smell a rat." They'd say, "I smell a rat-a-tat."
Oh, burn. Absolute.
Yeah, or like if you're
Decimation.
like sketchy but imposing, a rat-a-cate.
Ooh. Really evolving your insults, am I right? Ha!
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Okay, so blah, 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 blah. Where was I in my notes?
You having a stroke?
Yes, obviously. So Onix is threatening. Pikachu is pretty terrified and tries to send out Pidgeotto on his own, which was pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
He jumps on Ash's waist and taps Pidgeotto's Pokeball. You're like, no. Get out here. Fight for me.
Well, Pikachu knows what's going on.
Pikachu is very aware.
This giant rock snake monster.
Mm-hmm. So Brock commands Onix to use Bind, which is a very broken move in Generation 1. Do you know why?
Because you can't pull the Pokemon back.
Partially, but how Bind works, and Wrap, and Clamp in Generation 1, is that it does damage for like 2 to 7 turns, something like that. And while you're being damaged by one of those moves, you can't move at all. Like, you can't select an attack whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
And so if the Pokemon using Bind, Wrap, or Clamp is faster than you, they can just Bind, Wrap, or Clamp you to death, essentially.
Wow, that is broken.
Without you being able to do anything.
Doesn't that make Onix a lot better than you previously said he was?
It's slow, though. So it might be able to get one off, but you're going to knock it out with a special move immediately as soon as you get out of that bind.
In the show, this move looks pretty impressive, too. Pikachu, is getting pretty beat up.
Yeah, and Ash tries to recall Pikachu, and he's actually unable, which is a game moment, or an actual game moment. You can't retreat out of bind.
Game lore, game consistent.
Crazy stuff.
Usually we point out the opposite.
Yeah, there's not much that is similar between the show and the games. And this is another one of those times, hi, I'm editing, and I wanted to just fact check this real quick just to be sure. And as it turns out, Bind, Wrap, and Clamp did not, in fact, trap the opponent into battle in Generation 1. That was a feature introduced in Generation 2. Now back to your regularly scheduled podcast. But this is something big.
It's all similar.
I mean, if you want to be, sure, whatever. I'll let you have that one. So Flint comes back. He's kind of creepy. And
this is when I realized Flint can't be Brock.
He takes Ash back to his cabin. Pikachu naps again. Not in the sassy way, but it's still cute.
He's hurt.
Pikachu's under a blankie. It's adorable. And Flint seems to know a lot about Brock. I wonder why.
Yeah, and he gives us the background about Brock.
He says Brock is raising his 10 siblings, but there's actually 9 of them.
How do you notice these things?
I just do.
I gotta say, when you and this is why I think this is a really good connection for us to make, on this podcast, the two different perspectives. But you have this way of watching a scene and noticing things like that. I have no notes about this part because I'm just like, plot, things are happening. Give me something weird. Give me something quirky. I want a mood. I want a feeling. I want something I can riff off of. I have no notes about this next section because it's just plot.
You should probably take down some kind of notes about the plot so you can relate to what I'm saying.
All plots are just Shakespeare.
Oh, really?
We could just do a Shakespeare podcast.
I'd rather not. I'm much more interested in Pokemon.
Okay, so there's 9 kids.
There's 10
Flint
kids.
says there's 10.
There's 10 kids, but Brock is one of them. Flint says he's taking care of his 10 brothers and sisters, but Brock is one of those kids. So he's taking care of his 9 brothers and sisters. Brock is the 10th child.
Wow, Flint, learn to talk.
They're your children, Flint. Come on. So we learned that Brock's dad is a deadbeat who left, and his mom died, which is false because she actually shows up later in the anime. So this was I
read that in Bulbapedia.
Yeah, this was a translation error. I think.
Mistake.
Yeah, in the original Japanese, they say that she just left the family to Brock for whatever reason.
Okay, what happens next?
And then Flint takes Ash to a hydroelectric plant to power boost his Pikachu.
So, and this is where things really don't make sense, is they kind of say, okay, if we boost Pikachu up enough, you can defeat these things. If they're ground type, that's not true, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't do anything.
It doesn't matter how strong the electricity gets.
No. They should just be completely immune whatsoever. The fact that
Yeah,
Pikachu was able to knock out Geodude earlier pisses me off. But.
Yeah, this makes no sense. Come on, Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
We expect a twit longer on this tomorrow.
Yeah, so he's supercharging Pikachu. Flint has made Ash do manual labor to do this. And then Pikachu, it looks like Pikachu is being tortured, and I hated it.
Yeah, it's sad.
It was heartbreaking.
And it makes no sense.
No,
they're
unnecessary.
They're gonna ram electricity through this poor rat just so that can make him more powerful, so he can electrocute the creature made entirely of rock. Like, okay.
Yeah,
right,
okay,
man.
Pokemon. Okay, Pokemon.
And when Pikachu gets powered up, it looks like he destroys the building.
He goes fucking Super Saiyan.
Pikachu building destroyed number 2, I think, right? Versus the Viridian City Poke Center.
Though we don't actually see if it is actually destroyed.
Oh, it seemed like it.
It looks like
count
it got, but we don't see it.
Let's have a running list of
how
Pikachu
many buildings
property
Pikachu
destruction. Yeah. Like, what would his stars be on GTA? Like, the police are coming for Pikachu. They're just really slow.
So we're back at the gym again for match number 2, and I'm sitting here thinking, use your fucking Butterfree, Ash. Use Sleep Powder. That was an OP move last episode. Use that. Yeah. But no, he's a dumbass. He uses Pidgeotto, which is weak against rock moves. It's just a whole thing. I guess Butterfree would also be weak against rock moves, but Butterfree can put it to sleep.
Okay.
Is that all you're going to add? Am I just going to go through the whole fucking plots today and that's it? That's the whole thing?
I've got a lot to add about the interesting parts. This is just a fight. It looks good, but...
Oh, man.
The Pikachu can... I still think it's weird, right? We're going to be a broken record here. The Pikachu destroying the electricity, destroying the Geodude and stuff.
Yeah, so that's what happens next. Pikachu takes out the Geodude, which pisses me off. I hate it. And then it lets out a Thunderbolt against the Onix. And it does seem to damage the Onix, which, again, I hate.
And then the sprinklers get set off.
Yeah, well, Onix binds and seemingly knocks out Pikachu. Pikachu's got the eye swirlies. And with Pidgeotto having been knocked out, that should have been the end of the battle. That should have been it.
Right.
That should have been the finish.
Okay.
You should have lost right there.
Okay, and then the sprinklers get set off.
And then the sprinklers get set off. Because Pikachu lets out like this huge, unaimed Thunder Shock move that goes everywhere. And it sets off a little fires. And so the fire extinguishers get set off, which soak the Onix in water. And which is kind of
now, is this legal? Is this Pokemon battle legal?
I have no idea. But it does remind me of a move introduced in later generations. I think it was like 3, 4, or 5. I can't remember. It reminds me of the move Soak, which if you use the move Soak on a Pokemon, it changes its type to water. It doesn't do damage or anything, but it changes its typing to water. So theoretically, you could use Soak on an Onix and then electrocute it with a Thunder Shock. But that wasn't a move that existed. It just reminds me of that.
Yeah, that is kind of the vibe that's going on here. It gets soaked through water, and you're like, okay, now it's vulnerable. There's like a conduit for the electricity, I guess. We don't really know how Onix physiologically works. No. Like, what's rock, what is flesh. There's probably some guts under those rocks, right?
There's got to be somewhere else would it live.
I don't know. It's like a completely new kind of organism.
Every Pokemon has interesting physiology, I think.
It's like this idea that aliens, could like not even be made out of flesh like us. Maybe they're like a collection of rocks that's somehow conscious. And aliens will come up in the next episode.
Oh, foreshadowing.
In Conspiracy Theory Hour with Seymour.
And then we get a funny moment where Ash is like, it feels like the weight of all of Brock's siblings who don't want me to beat his Pokemon are attached to me, when they literally are.
This is hilarious, because he's being so dramatic. He's like talking out loud about like a metaphor that then is actually real. So all of Brock's like siblings jump on Ash. They're like holding his arms. It's like, don't command Pikachu to end it. It's
a very fun moment. And then Ash has a proper real sportsmanship moment where he realizes the whole sprinkler thing was a fluke. He should not have won.
Yeah.
He lost that fight. But Brox thinks differently for some reason.
And gives him a badge.
Tracks him down after. So Ash officially has his first badge.
I think Brock basically says something about how Ash defeated him with kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, you beat me in the battle, but bro, you were so nice.
You were just so kind to your Pokemon, and that means winning, apparently.
Yeah, I can't help it, man. You're so nice.
Dumb.
Well, I like it. Because this stuff, and shonen anime period, it's all about the power of friendship. Great power of friendship moment.
I guess so.
We can defeat anything with the power of friendship, Kellan.
I hate that.
Including having no listeners. With the power of friendship,
yes.
we will get listeners.
We will.
Shout us out in the comments.
If
you
the more platforms we
have the power of friendship.
More listeners we can get. More platforms. Let's go on every single platform.
With the power of friendship.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah, and Brock is so different in this episode. Like you said, he's not quite the comic relief yet. Mm-hmm. He's stoic. He's mature. He's very kind. He's very serious. And okay, so Brock is all kind of like, I would want to leave too. My dream's actually to take care of Pokemon. Why can't you leave, Brock? Well, I gotta take care of all these kids. And then Flint shows up, and we get the reveal.
What? He's Brock's dad? Oh my god. Who could have ever seen that one coming?
The beard was fake. That glorious beard was not even real.
No, unfortunately. We do learn that Brock's dream is to be a Pokemon breeder, which is not a trainer class that we see until Generation 3.
Okay, what are trainer classes?
Well, you know how when you fight a trainer and it's like youngster Joey wants to fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, youngster is that guy's trainer class. And then Pokemon breeder is another one.
Oh, like Pokenerd or...
Yeah, Pokemaniac or Gym
Swimmer.
Leader. Gym Leader is a trainer class. So it gives you a description as to what this person is.
Lots of foreshadowing in this episode.
And breeding itself wasn't even a thing until Generation 2.
Yeah, but it's like plausible.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah, all right.
How else do these things reproduce?
Well, that humans would meddle and get involved. That's sort of just like pets.
Yeah, I guess so.
So it does seem like, okay, so Flint reveals himself as the father, says that he was just trying to come to terms with all this crap. He couldn't, reveal himself right away. Like, okay, whatever, Flint, you have been a deadbeat. This is very weird. And you kind of think that Brock is going to let him have it. He's like, looks like he's not going to get off that easy. And then he's really he starts giving him tips for how to take care of all the kids.
Yeah, so he tells Flint, there's one kid only eats cold spaghetti for breakfast. This one eats cornflakes for supper.
That's the one I wrote down, too. Tommy only eats cold spaghetti for breakfast.
Ew.
And I did some research because I wanted to see if that was a translation. Like, if it was just like, oh, he only eats, soba noodles for breakfast or something. But I couldn't find anything about translation there.
Yeah, so. I don't know how many of those tiny little details you can
the
find.
Tiny lines they don't really care about on the main websites.
No.
Which is too bad, because that's all I care about.
One line I had noted down, because it made me laugh, was when Ash asked Flint why Flint helped him and not his own son. Flint said, because Flint's wanted to be a Pokemon trainer. He said, you reminded me of myself because you didn't stand a chance. Fucking roasted.
I know a fucking idiot when I see one, because I am one.
So Flint stays back with the kids now, and lets Brock go travel with Ash and Misty.
That cold spaghetti line is going to haunt me forever, though. What does it mean?
You're going to have to go watch the original episode. And then translate it yourself.
That was my next thought, was let's watch it in Japanese and listen. Netflix does not have the Japanese audio.
Oh, sacre.
Isn't that crazy? They have English audio, French audio, Spanish audio, German audio, and no Japanese.
They have just all of the dubs.
They don't have the original. They have all the dubs.
That's kind of weird.
It's surprising, because I thought, okay, I don't know Japanese, but I can probably hear the name of a noodle,
Yeah.
But nope.
So now Brock is traveling along with them. Misty is still on about the bike.
Well, good for her.
Yeah. She's entitled to that. And they try to ditch her.
I didn't really have any am I the asshole moments in this one.
No, it was one through storyline this episode.
Yeah. I mean, and Flint, I guess, kind of sucks, but like he kind of knows he sucks,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
It's pretty obvious. He's the asshole.
Is Flint even his real name?
Ooh. Probably, because it's a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, my question was, why doesn't Brock recognize Misty? Shouldn't the gym leaders at least know of each other?
Is that how it works?
You would think.
No, you tell me. I want to know more about this.
I don't know.
Do you think there's like some organization, some real proper organization for them to talk? Do they have like conventions?
Well, they're all part of the Pokemon League. They're all
but I don't know what this means.
The same organization.
Okay, but is their employment, done separately? Do they have a chance to meet? Like, is there a conference once a year? They're like, okay, Misty, see you in Hawaii again.
Well, you would think they would at least get like a newsletter with all the pictures of all the gym leaders. And like, hey, these are your coworkers. These are the badges they give out.
This is a lot of presumptions, but I would like to know more about
it. It would flesh out the organization.
See, these are the things that drive me. It's like what's actually going on in this world?
Either way,
I don't give a shit about the plot.
Yeah, obviously.
It's all about the world building. It's all about the sweet sentences.
This whole episode has been me going through the plot, and you're like, yeah, what's next? What happened next?
Yeah. Let's get to the cold spaghetti.
And then we see Team Rocket at the end of the episode again.
Yeah.
And they're gone.
They were just in a hole. So lame.
They really had no impact on the plot at all. But they were there.
So dumb.
They were there for a couple jokes, and that was it.
For one gag.
But we know that's where they were.
And they're pure comedy characters lately.
Mm-hmm.
Remember in episode 2 we said that they were actually kind of intimidating?
They were threatening originally.
Like Ekans is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And oh man.
They were originally threatening until they got laser focused on Pikachu. And then they became bumbling idiots.
Yeah. They're the worst.
Which, I mean, hey, maybe that's a commentary on real life. You get laser focused on something and you start to kind of lose yourself.
They get so obsessed with this singular goal that it's beyond something they want to achieve and just something that consumes them.
Yeah,
turns them into something they never should have been.
Did you have any literary analyses for this episode?
Cold spaghetti, mom's spaghetti.
Oh my god, there's vomit on his sweater already.
No, and the thing about literary analysis is like I don't think that this stuff is that deep. So I am going to be pointing out connections to, other anime and just things that I liked and enjoyed in general, but then also, weird lines. Let's get those sentences rolling.
Like, yeah, it's not that deep, but that's your whole job is to try and make it that deep.
I think I did.
That's why you're here.
I think I did. Ugh. Cold spaghetti.
Ugh. All right, are we going to rate this episode? Let's just get this one over with.
Is there even a possible literary consideration
I don't know.
Here,
that is your job
him,
here. That is what you're here for.
Maybe something with, wow, you're very mad. This is, I think I have definitely brought my side of it today. Shout us out in the comments. Am I doing my job?
I'm going to say no.
Oh, fuck you. Okay, let's get to the ranking.
Oh, man. All right. I'm pulling out the 4-pour. That's what I'm calling it now.
4-pour.
The 4-pour.
Quad POR.
Yeah,
so
the plastic ping pong picture of objective ratings.
There you go.
The 4-pour. And we're going to give it a shake.
Every episode we're going to pull out 2 randomly selected ranking criteria. Let's hear the first one.
The first one will be Pokemon variety.
Okay. So we've got Onix, Geodude, Pikachu, Butterfree. No Butterfree.
No, we didn't see Butterfree. We saw Pidgeotto.
Geodude,
Geodude, Onix, Pikachu. That's about it, I think. Meowth, technically.
Okay. Not bad. Not as good as the next episode.
No.
So,
I'm going to go with a 4.
A 4 is actually exactly what I was thinking.
4 out of 10, and then we're going to average that with category number 2, which is Team Rocket Schemes, which is a 0 out of 10.
0.
Yeah.
A big fat 0.
So that is a 2 out of 10.
Absolutely horrible.
2 out of 10 for Showdown in Pewter City. Rough episode.
Weak episode, according to the system.
According to the
system, which is never wrong.
The 4-pour. The objective. No, it's not wrong because it's objective.
Yeah, and it's objective because it's random.
It's just objective. That's it.
Why? Because you said it is.
Yeah.
We are tearing each other apart this episode. Yep. What has become of us?
This is the last episode, final episode of the podcast, because we're fighting too much already. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, see you in Hawaii.
All right, we're moving on to Clefairy and the Moonstone. Episode 6. Episode 6 of Season 1, Clefairy and the Moonstone.
Yeah, kick us off.
Now, do you know where we're starting off here at all? Were you paying enough attention?
Yeah, a meteor crashed called the Moonstone.
And then?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Zubats. The Zubats.
Oh my god.
Where do you want to start?
So
I know that
we're off to Mount Moon. We learned that a meteor crashed into it in prehistoric times and became the Moonstone. And then we meet a professor guy who is being attacked by the Zubats. Or Zubat.
Right. Yeah.
And Pikachu zaps him into the cave.
Yeah, and it's surprising because there's Zubats outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of the big, something weird's happening here.
Yeah,
Zubats are bats.
Yes.
Yes.
An astute observation. Well done.
You're mean this episode.
Well
You're
done.
mean.
Well done.
You have something really salty for breakfast?
I have not eaten anything today.
Oh, that's the problem. You need a hot dog.
I don't have hot dogs. I could go for
what you gonna eat?
I could go for a Costco hot dog though. Ugh.
Oh, we all
good.
could.
So good. So the professor guy starts speaking in poetic couplets, and I hate it.
Yeah, he's weird. He's talking in poetry. He's moved by friendship, and I like random acts of poetry. But this guy has a weird energy about him. His name's Seymour the Scientist, and he's just like, I don't know. He's like a weird mountain dude. He's an eccentric. Right?
More like Seymour Butts. Am I right? Got him.
You're wrong. No butts allowed
in this children's podcast. This family-friendly Christian podcast.
He's a fringe member of society, right? He's a conspiracy theorist. Mm-hmm. Let's be real about that.
Yeah, well, we'll learn more about that in a little bit. So you learned that someone has strung lights up in Mount Moon. Who could that possibly have been?
Yeah, well, it's Team Rocket.
What?
Spoilers.
No way. No fucking way.
But these lights are throwing off the ecosystem. Mm-hmm.
Because it's usually dark in there. Zubat never leaves. So Zubat thinks it's always daytime.
Right.
And that's why they're kind of being weird about it.
Yeah, and the sand shrews are drying up. Yeah. And the mushroom folk or something.
The mushroom folk?
Yeah, what are those?
It's a Paris.
Ah.
So we see Paris and Sandshrew, which is interesting because Sandshrew in red and blue did not appear in Mount Moon.
Oh.
It appeared,
inaccuracy.
It appeared in Mount Moon in yellow, but that was based on the anime, so they changed that.
Pokemon producers, you have an awful lot to answer for.
We have many a question for you.
Atone for your sins.
And then we see that there... Oh, go ahead.
Well,
you actually have something to say, so go for it.
The Pokemon... You are so mean to me. I'm filing for divorce. My self-esteem is shattered. No, I liked it. It was fun seeing there's good Pokemon variety in this episode. That category that was 4 out of 10 last episode, this one's actually kind of nice. It's sad because the Pokemon are suffering, but you're like, okay, yeah, something's going on here. Mm-hmm. I know that the professor is going to get into some stuff soon because we see a Clefairy, right?
Yeah.
And then this is where this weird idea of Pokemon being aliens comes up.
Mm-hmm. So we see Clefairy holding a fragment of the Moonstone, which are like the Moonstones we see in the game, typically. And he thinks that Pokemon came from space on the Moonstone. He thinks all Pokemon came from space.
Right. And the language is weird here because like maybe it's like life started off planet, right? And organisms evolved and that kind of stuff is a theory that people, have about Earth as well. But the way he says it, it's like the Moonstone was a spaceship and they just all got on board like the Yellow Submarine and had a grand old time with John and Paul and landed.
I think it is theorized in game that in the universe that Clefairy did come from space. I'm not entirely sure. I think
Clefairy specifically.
Clefairy specifically, I think.
But Seymour thinks they all did.
Seymour thinks they all came in on the Moonstone.
He's that aliens meme, the guy with his hair up. Like aliens.
Aliens.
Oh, Seymour. Yeah. And Team Rocket's behind this all, of course.
Shocker. Surprise.
Yeah, shocker. Surprise. So boring.
But
Team Rocket.
for the first time, we hear make it double. We don't hear the full prepare for trouble, but they hear the word trouble, and they're like, trouble? We'll make it double.
Boom.
So their motto, their opening is evolving.
Yeah.
Just like Clefairy will
Just
later.
like Clefairy will, yeah. Exactly.
So they put up the lights. They're looking for the Moonstone so they can power up their Pokemon, and we see our first real double battle.
What did that mean, power up their Pokemon?
Who the fuck knows?
Okay, so that was a strange line.
Yeah, I don't know. Because Moonstones in the game only evolve, in Gen 1, only evolve Clefairy, Jigglypuff, and Nidorino and Nidorina.
So they're very specific kind of niche items.
But that's all they do. They power up those 4 Pokemon by evolving them, but that's it.
Yeah, and Team Rocket doesn't have any of those.
No.
So, like, they're just attracted to shiny things, right? They're like, oh, this is, like, an important shiny object. We need it.
So it's revealed that Brock has a Zubat.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, because it's like, he throws out a Zubat, and Ash is like, when'd you get a Zubat? And Brock's like, oh, I caught it outside. And Ash was like, I should have done that.
It's like the moment that they gave him the Zubat, and they're like, wait, he's a rock type trainer. He shouldn't have a Zubat. I just throw in a line that he caught it before they entered the cave.
Right,
Because we never saw him catch it. He just has it. And so Ash uses Whirlwind on the smoke screen. And
the coughing smoke screen.
A couple things here. One, Brock tells Zubat to use Double Team. And then Zubat proceeds to also use Whirlwind, which is another translation error, because in the original Japanese, Brock says something along the lines of team up with Butterfree.
Oh.
So he's also commanding Zubat to use Whirlwind.
What is Double Team?
Double Team is a move that raises your evasiveness.
Oh, okay, so it's a buff.
Yeah, it's a really fucking annoying buff, but it's a buff.
Yeah, and we all know that the show does not treat buffs and debuffs with any sort of reverence. They explode them into whatever.
Yeah, and so they use Whirlwind to blow Team Rocket out of the cave. But here's the thing: in Generation 1, Whirlwind never worked in trainer battles.
Oh. So what does Whirlwind do?
Whirlwind is supposed to send the opposing Pokemon out of battle. If you use it on a wild Pokemon, it's the same thing as running away from them. It just ends the battle. If you use it on a trainer Pokemon, what it's supposed to do is send them back into the Pokeball, and then it sends out another one of the trainer's Pokemon at random. But in Generation 1, it always fails in trainer battles. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's just how it works.
Okay.
In Generation 2 and onwards, it actually works properly.
But here it can kick Team Rocket's ass.
Yeah, Whirlwind
and Team Rocket is so boring now. Like, the Ekans and the Coughing have turned into these, like, wimpy little Pokemon when they were, like, very intimidating at first.
Yep. And so Clefairy's on the run. Meowth is giving chase. And we see that Misty has a Staryu. We revealed that.
Yeah, is it the first time?
Yep. We have not seen Staryu yet.
You know, some of these battles, they looked pretty good, actually. Yeah, I would say. There was a fair amount of detail in them. Staryu looks cool. Shooting. What's the move it uses?
It starts with Swift, which is the little stars.
Okay, and that's
one.
The little stars.
Yeah.
These, like, lightning energy stars fly around.
And then it uses Water Gun to bloat the Meowth to massive proportions, which is great.
Yeah, it's just like giving him water poisoning. Tremendous around of hydration.
I can draw a literary analysis from this one, or a literary comparison.
Let's hear it.
It reminds me of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. With Violet Beauregard and the blueberry puff up.
Getting all puffed up, flying away.
So there you go.
That's deep.
I'm doing your job for you.
You have to lay off. My job is bringing the fun. You can bring, Whirlwind didn't work this way in Gen 1, but in Gen 2, excuse me, mister. You can bring that stuff.
I don't remember you bringing any literary comparisons today.
I think that there aren't any.
Well, that just doesn't seem like you're doing your job well enough.
This is so mean. I'm bringing sweet sentences, like cold spaghetti.
Sure you are.
Yeah.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I think we'll need to remix that Eminem song. but with cold spaghetti
Cold
instead of mom's spaghetti.
Vomit on
That's
his
like
sweater
Brock's
already.
new anthem.
So we learn now.
Are you going to get copyright striked? Because that was so beautiful.
Yeah, it was a perfect impersonation. Mm-hmm. So we learn now, Brock, they are camping around. Brock makes special Pokemon food. We see this for the first time. Brock has some culinary talents.
Yeah, and I had a question about this because, so Brock's feeding the Pokemon. Ash looks confused. Has Ash been feeding his Pokemon?
I didn't even think about that.
He is so dumb. He would neglect them.
He would totally forget.
Like, Ash is so irresponsible. And Seymour, that freak, is also eating the Pokemon food.
Well, Seymour seems to like it. Ash doesn't. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Well,
is Seymour a Ditto in disguise? Oh.
Yeah.
There's my conspiracy.
Okay, so he is the aliens.
Oh, yes.
Spreading this theory about the aliens.
Yes. Oh, my God.
And Ditto's very alien-like.
We've cracked the code. You've done it.
Look at these comparisons I'm making.
Oh,
Ditto
man.
the alien.
Yeah, the comparisons you're making this episode.
I think literature transcends literature, you know? It's about all of us. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Oh, fine.
So then they see Pikachu making friends with Clefairy, because Pikachu is such a Chad. He's just like making friends with everyone.
Pikachu is the biggest
Chad.
Cool dude. Pikachu is the biggest Chad in the show. By far.
Oh, yeah. By far.
The whole Pikachu Clefairy stuff is interesting, though, because Clefairy, I believe, was kind of originally going to be Ash's partner Pokemon.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Breaking news.
I don't remember if this is concretely confirmed or if it's just been said in passing or what. But
so there's a rumor that
at the very
Clefairy
least,
was supposed to be the starter.
It's at the very least Clefairy was originally going to be Ash's starter, but then Pikachu's popularity kind of blew up, and they changed to that, and then Pikachu became the mascot.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, there you go.
I don't think Clefairy isn't as nearly as memorable of a design as Pikachu.
No.
Like, there's something just about like Pikachu's proportions that are so much like a logo, you know?
Mm-hmm. And there is some credence to the whole Clefairy thing, because it is very prominent in one of the manga series.
Okay.
So, there's that.
Oh, maybe I should read one of those.
I've been wanting to read the Pokemon Adventures manga for a long time, but I cannot find the first edition anywhere.
You're looking for a physical?
Yeah.
It's probably digital.
It's not the same, though. Like, the comic stores by my place always have, like, 2, 3, and 4, but they never have 1. Which is very strange.
Classic. Has that ever happened to you? Shout us out in the comments.
So they follow Clefairy back to the core of the Moonstone. We have found the Moonstone. Yeah. Huge news.
Yeah, and it's gigantic.
It's giant.
Yeah, and a bunch of Clefairy show up.
They all gather. They've been bringing all sorts of Moonstone shards back to the core. Yeah. And then they start doing their little moon dance.
Yeah, they start getting freaky.
It's very cute.
Yeah, and this next part's hilarious because, like Pikachu's trying to communicate with the humans, like, what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I think Seymour's like, wait, you can understand Pikachu? And Ash is like, of course I can. He's my Pokemon. And so Pikachu's, like, essentially doing charades, but Ash is not understanding any of it.
Of course I can understand Pikachu. Proceeds to not understand Pikachu whatsoever.
Yeah, I think he thinks that Pikachu is saying, do the Macarena.
The Clefairy collect all of these rocks and do the Macarena.
Yeah.
And then the Clefairy likes raisins, was another thing that he interpreted from Pikachu.
Yeah, so he's just failing. He eventually gets it that it's prayer. Mm-hmm. Like, the Clefairy prays the Moonstone. Yes. And it's some kind of religious ceremony. Like, this is the cult of Clefairy. And Seymour's into it, man.
Well, why wouldn't he
wants
be?
to
It's very
ride
cute.
The stone to space. He's like, this stone will empower humanity to the moon, to Mars. What does that mean?
Pioneers used to ride these babies for miles.
It's a SpongeBob reference, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so he wants to get in that spaceship, go to Mars with the Clefairies.
Exactly. So the Clefairy pray to the Moonstone, and Team Rocket's back.
Of course they are.
And they can actually hear Seymour's knees shaking, which I thought was a funny moment.
Yeah, and then they trip him and go,
Did you have a nice trip?
Yeah, that's humor.
Got him.
Yeah. Comedy, folks. Pokemon invented it.
And then we get another double battle where Pikachu and Onix are together, and then Ash sends out Pidgeotto. Whatever happened to League rules, Ash?
I don't know.
We're going 3-on-2 now?
It doesn't matter when they're fighting Team Rocket,
I guess
right?
so, but...
Ash has learned that they don't follow rules, so he won't either.
Yeah. So when the smoke...
Taking business into his own hands.
So when the smoke screen dissipates, we see the Moonstone has been stolen. Team Rocket's taking the Moonstone.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And so Brock sends
Onix.
Onix
How'd
out.
they get it out so fast? But I guess they had this sled ready. Mm-hmm. They load it on or something.
Yep. And Onix is able to intercept Team Rocket, pop out of the ground where they are, and then the Clefairy all come rushing back out, and they all use Metronome and blow Team Rocket up to smithereens.
This is one of those times I'm going to have to back us up for missing plot
Oh my
stuff.
goodness.
Well, you jumped over the battle a little bit. I'm just surprised. Maybe you didn't want to go there. Maybe we shouldn't go there. But you missed Jesse's profound line, size doesn't matter when they're fighting the Onix.
I didn't catch that one.
They're fighting the Onix, and Jesse goes, size doesn't matter. Okay.
Life lessons from Pokemon.
In a kid's show.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so they got the Moonstone on the sled. The Onix burrows after them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty hype looking, actually.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's this big scary monster, gets in front of them. Yeah, the Clefairy uses Metronome, and this is where Pokemon expert Kellan, you gotta walk me through this. I don't really get what happened, and I don't really remember what Metronome is.
So Metronome
that?
Metronome in the game, what it says is the Pokemon will wiggle its finger. So that's what Clefairy does. They use Metronome, and then Metronome will choose a random move from the entire list of moves in the game. There's a few exceptions in later gens, but for the most part, it's every move. All the moves. So we can use anything from Leer to Explosion. And we see the Clefairy use something like Earthquake or Explosion or something, and it sends Team Rocket blasting off again.
Okay. I didn't catch that from the show. I just thought it was a powerful move.
No, it seems in the show that it is some kind of explosion thing, but it is...
Oh, yeah, I know. But I didn't understand the random selection.
Yeah, no, they don't really explain that at all.
They don't really explain that, because I was like, wow, are Clefairy, super good then? No, they're not, right? No. You can't rely... In competitive games, you can't rely on random moves.
God, no. In competitive Pokemon, you typically don't see moves that are 90% accurate, either.
It's 100 or nothing?
It's 100 or nothing, for the most part.
Yeah, because you basically reduce all of the randomness from it, right?
Yeah, but then there's crits, which throw everything out of whack.
Come on. So is Pokemon a good competitive game?
I enjoy it.
Should I ask that question? Is that sacrilege?
No, I don't think so. I enjoy it. I don't really care for top level stuff because it's all the same Pokemon.
Yeah, it gets kind of boring.
It's only because everyone's using the meta stuff.
It's kind of like controversial opinion, but competitive Melee, as amazing as it gets to watch, and as incredible players as these people get, I always thought it was boring how it's just a few characters that people play as.
Yep. And that's why patches are good, Make everyone the same.
Is that controversial? I don't know. To the Melee players it is. But, Ultimate's a bigger scene now, so...
Good. It's a better game.
Fighting games, people.
Anyway, back to Pokemon.
Yeah, well, there's Pokemon in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But Clefairy's... Does Clefairy use Metronome in Smash Brothers?
I think so.
It's summoned from a Pokeball?
I can't remember if Clefairy is summoned from a Pokeball or if it's one of the things in the Saffron City stage in 64 or both.
Oh, yeah. But he does show up.
He shows up somewhere.
So in this show, though, they do the Metronome, the Moonstones, raining down. They start turning into Clefables.
They evolve. They're all evolving.
Into some of the rarest Pokemon in the world.
Which is kind of true. Clefairy is quite rare in Mount Moon in the games.
Yeah. And Clefable then would be super rare.
Especially because in Red and Blue there are a finite amount of Moonstones that you can get a hold of.
So there's all these Clefairies. Half of them turn into Clefables. They're all shouting their names. God, that was annoying.
Clefable.
That was horrible. And Seymour's I'm going to live with these freaks.
Yeah, I was curious about the encounter rate. So I went to Bubblepedia. In Generation 1, at least on the first floor, Clefairy is a 1% encounter rate. In the basement, it's 4 or 5. And then 6 or 10 in the very, very bottom floor. So it gets a little more common, but it's still quite rare.
If we had an episode without any Pokemon math, I would die.
That wouldn't be good. I would have to find a new co-host.
Well, you're already ready to fire me, I thought, though.
Yeah, the only reason I'm not is because I don't want to find a new co-host.
Oh, wow. It's
Step
laziness.
up your game. Step up your game.
It's laziness. I appreciate the math. That's all I'm saying. So they're rare.
They are quite
That's
rare.
accurate. Are we a Pokemon fact-checking podcast?
Ah, yeah.
Is that what we are? We listen to the episodes and then we see if they're consistent with the game.
Ah, yeah. That's what I'm looking at these for.
Right.
What is the consistency between the show and the games is what I'm interested in.
And I think I bring the fun.
Sure. Okay.
Cold spaghetti.
You think that.
So Seymour wants to live with them. Yeah, he's
a weirdo.
What would his Facebook feed be like? You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine, like, you meet him once and you're like, okay, and he adds you on Facebook. Then, like, 3 months later, you start seeing posts and you're like, oh my god. What the heck is wrong with this guy?
It's just Clefairies over and over again.
Well, weird theories about us all living in space.
Seymour would be a flat earther, I think.
Yeah, he's a conspiracy theorist, for sure.
And so we end the episode off, we approach a fork in the road, and we're going to go the way of Cerulean City. But Misty looks very apprehensive about that.
Ooh.
Why would that be?
I wonder why.
Maybe we'll find out next episode.
Misty, more like twist.
Whoa! Got him.
That will happen.
And then, oh my god. And then we see on the sign, Gary was here, Ash is a loser.
Ha ha.
Which... True.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that Ash is like in his head, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I figured Gary wouldn't even be thinking. I
think Gary knows that it bothers Ash, and he likes to fuck with him.
Right, but like Gary's thinking about Ash.
Aww, how sweet.
I thought if he truly, didn't care about Ash, he wouldn't even be on his radar.
I think it's just that he knows that it really annoys Ash.
Likes to bully him.
He really likes to bully Ash.
And they're like childhood friends, kind of.
They're childhood rivals. They've been rivals since they were babies.
Is that a thing?
That's what
I don't think I have a childhood rival.
That's what Oak says in the opening of Red and Blue. You were rivals since you were babies.
Just seeing who can make the bigger fart in their diapers.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Who can take a bigger shit? All right, are you rating now?
Yeah, let's get to the PPOR.
The 4-pour.
4-pour radio.
And our first category for Clefairy and the Moonstone will be anime sweat drops. I don't think there were any.
There's gotta be some. It's like where somebody says something cringy and then they all go, and they see the sweat go.
I don't recall any moments like that.
Yeah, well, I guess you'd know the best.
Yeah, I'm the one that pays attention.
I'm going to die after this. I'm gonna eat my cold spaghetti and cry.
Alright, what are we rating it, though? For that.
Well, if there's none, it's a 0.
Yeah,
but
I guess so.
I think there's gotta be... I think we can proxy that, though. It's really just to capture moments where one character says something cringy, other people react. I think that if Seymour was a regular, there'd be lots. Like, I think they would be reacting to, like, everything he says.
Oh, yeah.
And so it has some Meowth. He's another one. People would say stuff, they react. But I don't know. I can't go higher than a 2.
No.
There is no explicit one.
No, yeah, let's say 2 then.
2.
And our second category will be characters falling in surprise and embarrassment.
Such similar energy.
Yeah, it is. I think
I don't think this happens either.
I think there was one. There was one in one of these episodes. I remember that vividly. Yeah. I can't remember which episode it was, though.
You remember it vividly, but you don't remember it.
Yeah. I remember it happening. I just can't remember which episode it was. Maybe it was the first episode we watched.
I think that this episode has some of that energy, though.
Oh, yeah.
Again, and it's got to do with, like, Seymour. It's got to do with that kind of thing. So I'd give it, like, a 3.
Yeah, let's go with that.
They're still weak.
We need better categories, I think. Hi, me again. It was really bothering me. I went back and looked. The moment I was thinking of was Pikachu did the fall over thing after Ash made the Macarena joke. So that's where that was. Just so I know it was really bothering you. Back to the end of the podcast.
Yeah, we can come up with some. I think that those two are the kind of categories that would be better if we knew them. They kind of only work if you know them ahead of time.
Yeah, but then if they're good, you remember them.
They're too easy not to catch.
You remember them, though, if they're good.
That's true. That's true if it was really hype.
Mm-hmm.
Really funny.
Well, that does it for that episode, then.
Yeah. Let us know about more categories. That's something we definitely want to brainstorm. We've got quite a few in there already, as we've seen in the past. Stuff like how Pokemon taste if they were eaten, Pokemon mum energy. We've got that, and more simple things like more straight cut things like how the animation looked, how the plot of the episode was, that sort of thing. But if you've got some really kind of more wacky ideas, that's what we want to hear. And we're also open to questions. Like if you've got any questions or discussion topics you think would be interesting, shout us out in the YouTube comments. Yeah, that's probably the best place to reach us. Eh?
Yeah, probably. We do have a Gmail, TKAD@gmail.com, if you want, but
yeah,
YouTube comments
videos
work
there too.
Yeah. And wherever you're listening, make sure to rate 5 stars.
Yes, so on the podcast platforms, ratings are really what help us out. It can be a little bit tricky to find. Like on Spotify, you have to be rating the podcast as a whole, not individual episodes. So if you go to the To Kill a Delibird page, that's where you'll give us a review, a rating, and we'd really appreciate that. And thank you for everyone listening for your support. Yeah, anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, this has been a fun episode. You hate me, though, and I'm going to die.
Yep.
Thanks, folks.
Bless your souls. Bless your hearts. Okay, one last thing, and then I'll let you go. I forgot to mention which episodes we're taking care of next week. If you want to watch along, we'll be watching Episode 7, The Water Flowers of Cerulean City, Episode 8, The Path to the Pokemon League, and Episode 9, The School of Hard Knocks. Those will be what we'll be watching next week. If you've got any questions about those episodes, just leave them in the comments, and now I'll finally let you go. Have a lovely, lovely day.